Hello, you little hellions out there. It is your host with the most, Benjamin Dutil, with the Horror Heathen YouTube channel and the South Jersey Horror Podcast. Welcome back to another exciting and thrilling episode. Today, I have a wonderful and talented actor, Bill Oberst Jr., who plays Tony Commando and Rob Zombie's Three from Hell. I can't really explain too much about this movie. Just have to go watch it for yourself. Excuse me. So, without further ado, please give a warm welcome to Bill. How you doing, sir?
Hey, Benjamin, I love that you used the word hellions. That's a throwback from my youth when we used to call kids names like, you damn little porch monkeys, you bunch of
Oh,
hellions, drive me to the crazy house. All this thing. You can't say those things to kids now because it makes them feel bad. But I like calling them hellions, like damn hellions. It's good. So yeah, all you hellions, hello, and thanks, Benjamin, for having me.
absolutely. I used to call kids little demon spawns. Just the way they act sometimes.
Totally. Kids, you know what? Kids don't need to be built up that much. Like we may have gone a little overboard.
Just a little bit.
A little.
so, so we're here today to talk about Rob Zombie's Three from Hell. Outstanding movie. I get that Rob Zombie it does his acting, his directing a little bit out of the ordinary. A little usual outside the norm, but what you see in horror movies in Hollywood. But we can get that in a minute. So I was wondering if you could tell the audience a little bit about yourself and how your career in acting started.
My career, such as it is, started at first in theater. I did legitimate theater for 14 years, made my living on the stage. And then I just kind of accidentally fell into doing television in 2008 when I got a role quite by accident on the History Channel as General Sherman of the Civil War for a docudrama called Sherman's March. And so with that under my belt, everybody said, "Oh, you should go get an agent. You should go to Hollywood. You should go to Los Angeles." So I moved out to LA and quickly found out that I would starve unless I was scary. So I became scary, which was cool because I really loved horror movies as a kid anyway. And so pretty much ever since then, 19, 20, 21, 22, oh my God, like 16 years, I've been doing questionable horror movies and loving every minute of it.
Everything's questionable about Rob Zombie. I mean, it's just
All horror movies are questionable.
it's
You
like,
know, they've all got something. No, any horror movie that's so slick that there's nothing you'd roll your eyes at, I don't trust it.
yeah. I mean, I've seen a few where I have to sit there and try to wrap my head around it. And there's one that I watched recently. I can't remember the name of it, but I'm sitting there just wondering, like, what the hell is going on, man? And
Well,
then,
look, you told me before the interview that Michael Myers was your favorite,
correct.
right? That's a great damn movie, but there are moments in it that are eye rolling, and the same with the original Freddy. There, there've got to be, or it's no fun. I think people who like want to do horror just for the money. We're gonna make money because the two kinds of movies you can make that are almost guaranteed to make you money because they're universal are faith based and horror. But the people who do those movies just because they miss the heart, they miss the fun. And if there's no fun in horror, it's just eh.
Oh, absolutely, I get it. But you have to have fun while on set. I mean, otherwise it's gonna be a boring day, and you're gonna dread it. And you're like, okay, why am I? Did you ask
Well,
yourself, why am I doing this?
and I think Benjamin is because horror is all it's about death. The whole thing is a rehearsal for our own mortality. That's what horror is, I'm convinced. The reason we love it, same reason we love a roller coaster ride, it's a little mini encounter with death. And we feel a little bolder afterwards saying, you know what, you son of a bitch, you're gonna get me one day, but not today. And so there's got to be some fun and some spunk and some chutzpah with that, or else it's just flat.
It's funny how you bring that up because when I was a kid, I hated roller coasters. And then I think by the time I was age of 15, I was like, you know what? Let's do this. Let's just go around the roller. Let's get it out of the way. All right. Let's just get it over with. I mean, and all of a sudden, I love going on roller coasters now. It's weird. So it's just,
Yeah, that's a big part of life is trying things. Well, I mean, what's the worst that could happen? You might throw up. In fact, that's a pretty good metaphor for life. What's the worst that could happen? You might throw up on somebody, but so what?
make sure it goes behind you.
They'll clean it up. It's okay.
So I worked at a music park here in New Jersey, and the stuff I had to clean up in the past. Oh my God, just nasty, just really nasty. But
Well,
anyway, because
it's but
avoid
it's
the
good.
signs.
It's good for a person to do things that are considered nasty or unsavory or ooh. It's good for you. This is my German father talking,
Oh,
but it builds character. And there's some workout routine that's really been hot over the last. I don't know what it's called, but it's extreme. You have to work out so many times each day. Some of it has to be outdoors, no matter what the weather. I haven't done it, but I like it. I like the idea because it teaches you that conditions are never going to be perfect. You just got to do it. Suck it up.
yeah, that's right. I mean, it's funny how you mentioned that. I also know the story when I was in the military, in basic training. My drill sergeants had this game called the Jolly Rancher game. So what it was, if you had to go in and close your eyes, there was two colors, there's red and green. So that they would blindfold you, and whatever color you chose, it pertained to a specific exercise. So if you picked red, you do sit-ups until you pass out. If you pick green, you do push-ups until you puke.
Which did you choose more often?
I don't know. I mean, it only happened to me twice, so luckily I got one of each color, so it was great.
Either color. Yeah, either color. It's going to be rough.
Yeah. Anyway, so kind of off topic there, which is what you're awesome. I love talking to you already. You're great.
I hate being on topic.
So you won 35 awards, which is nuts. That's insane, and that's like a huge achievement. I mean, I can say all I can say is congratulations. That's a big milestone for anyone to win that many awards. But the most recent was the fantastic award for Best Supporting Actor in a Short Film for Play It All Night Long, with a magnitude of 263 credits on IMDb. Jesus Christ, man. You're a busy man. I mean,
I when I came in 2000 when I came in 2008 and started to starve and realized, okay, I got to be scary. I started asking people for advice, like the old folks, and that's what they said was build your credits. I said, well, it doesn't matter what the hell it is, you do it. So I took every job, Benjamin. Like I did nothing all day for 10 years but submit nothing. So you about 8% of your submissions you're going to get a response to. So okay, so that's 92% out the door. So you go to those 8%, and of that, I'd say maybe 1% you're going to get a call back, and half of a 1% you're going to get a job. So you're like a shark. You have to keep working. But the more credits you have, it's just like dating. The hotter you are, I don't mean hot physically. I mean, the more people want you, the more people want you. So my goal was, I'm going to trick people into thinking that they need to hire me because I work a lot. And it worked.
a casting director would be nuts not to have you in one of their films. Just saying.
And I hope that's not just because I have a lot of credits. I've backed off a lot in the last few years. I only do 3 or 4 a year now. I was doing 10 to 12 a year for a while, but I backed off a little.
So to wrap to get the to wrap everyone this around everyone's head in the audience about your role as Tony Commando. So what is the story behind on how you got that role, how you acquired that role?
Well, and I think this is true for everybody who works for Rob. My agent, Gloria Hinojosa at Amzel Eisenstadt Hinojosa, Amzel Eisenstadt Frazier in Hinojosa, a good Los Angeles agency. Gloria called and said, Rob Zombie would like to have you in the new film, which was as yet untitled. And I said, well, what would I play? And he said, well, you don't get to know that because he hasn't written it yet. You get to say yes or no. And if it's yes, he'll write a part for you. And it could be one line, or it could be one scene, or it could be more. It's up to Rob. Everything's up to Rob. Oh, and everyone's working for scale. So take it or leave it. So I said, yes, of course, I'll take it. And so I ended up doing a cameo for him. I think that Rob Zombie to me is really interesting as a filmmaker. You say that he approaches horror in a way nobody else does. And I think that's because he's not just a horror filmmaker, although that's primarily what people have hired him for. He's a complete filmmaker, just like he's a complete entertainer. And so I think he's bringing to horror sensibilities of other kinds of movies that he'd like to make in other genres. He's plugging them into horror, and that's why his stuff is interesting.
Yeah, I do find his work fascinating, and it's more of on the like I said before, outside the norm, which is great because he has an open mind and how he does all his work. And his version of Halloween, I enjoyed very much because he did a backstory for Michael Myers. And I'm like, this is great. So now we know what kind of person, Michael Myers was, how he was institutionalized as a kid, and what drove him to go crazy. And like, I love backstories. It's like every movie that I watch, I want to see a backstory to the character who they're focusing on.
Did, did you
So
like the Freddy remake, the Nightmare remake? Did you like Freddy's backstory there with Jackie Haley?
I like the story and I like the movie. Just I'm not a big fan of Jackie though. So sorry, Jackie.
But he had a tough road to hoe, Benjamin. Like, because if he was too much like the original, then he was going to get slammed. And if he was too far away, he was going to get slammed.
Yeah. By the way, the movie came out pretty good. I mean, it was like fresh faces in the franchise in the movie. Like they're pulling all these other actors from different shit from other movies that a lot of people have never seen before, or like pulling people from like TV shows and like sitcoms instead of like mainstream movies. Like, okay, fresh new talent. I love it. Let's keep it going. So, and
Yeah,
that's what I liked about it. And the backstory was great about him having his little secret hiding place in the school and blah 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 and stuff like that. So I was like, this is fantastic. I mean, like I said, I love when they do backstories on people and how it all started for them.
because
So
everybody who's a monster, everybody who would say that's a monster, they have a backstory of how they became a monster. Like, I'm attached to play Hitler in a World War II thing that may or may not happen, depending on where they get the money. But I was really interested in doing it, and I said yes because, oh, Hitler's a monster. No, dude, Hitler is a human being just like us. Same body, same abilities, same potentialities. He's just us on another path, and we could easily be on that path. Oh, I could never be like. Yes, you could. Yes, you
I mean,
could.
anybody can be like that. Like
Yeah,
you're right, you're correct. It's just how you see, well, how you project your ideologies is what I think a lot of people did. The whole world didn't agree with what Hitler did. I mean, because his genocide and his what he did with the Jewish people, the community. But that's what he did, and it pissed off the world. And I completely understand that 110%. So, but I don't hate the guy for what he did. I mean, he did what he did. So you can't change the past. That's, unless you travel back in time and kill him. I don't know. So
Okay, wait a minute now. So I have to, because I've posed this question to people for years. You can travel back in time and you can kill Hitler, but he's a baby. I mean, like a young baby, like 2, 3 months old. Would you do it?
no, I would go back and raise him right. That's what I would do.
You would do what?
I would go back and raise him to be the right person.
You would steal Hitler, stealing baby Hitler. That's
Yes,
even better than killing baby
and,
Hitler.
and then raise him and to teach him what is right and what is wrong. That's what I would do.
Interesting.
Because
Interesting.
that's exactly what I do with my kids. I taught them right and what the difference between right and wrong.
I've
I
never
mean,
heard that answer. Most people say I wouldn't kill him as a baby, and then I'll say like, how old would he have to be before you'd kill him? And then it gets interesting. Like 12? No, I can't kill a 12. But maybe 15. Maybe some people say he has to be like in his late teens. Most people will kill him anytime after that.
see, Hitler wasn't 100% German, though. He was also Austrian.
Right.
So, it's not. You have to blame the parents of how kids are raised and how they develop these ideas. It all starts with the parents because the parents are the foundation to every upbringing for anybody. I mean,
Yeah. His father, from my research and reading, his father was a real bastard.
so and I get it. And also Hitler developed syphilis too, which is the disease that attacks the brain. So and I think that's what started his his all his crazy ideas. So
Yeah.
you just can't blame the man. You have to blame what happened to him and how he was raised and how he contract. I don't know how he contracted syphilis, but he did, and it attacked his brain, and it messed with his moral reasoning. That's what I believe.
But I'd
So
still go all inglorious bastards on him, even if I understood what happened.
so how would you do it? I mean, shoot him in the face, strangle him, blow him up with an anti-tank mine or whatever. I don't know. It got so many choices.
I would I think I would do what the generals tried to do in the staff meeting that didn't work because the briefcase was on the wrong side of the giant leg of the freaking table, that his leg was like this thick with the bomb in the briefcase. They were just going to leave it and excuse themselves from the meeting and blow him up.
Have you seen Valkyrie, the one with Tom Cruise and where they play the Germans? And yeah, that's amazing how they based that movie on true facts. I loved it. It was a great movie.
Oh yeah, I'm a freak for World War II is so dramatic, right? Because it's like, I mean, I know that the people on both sides felt they were doing right at some point, but it's very good versus evil.
So real quick, I'm gonna throw a TV show out for you. It's called Men in the High Castle. It's on Amazon.
Yeah,
It's like a
I've seen.
that outstanding. I loved it. It's like a what if scenario. Japan and Germany took over the United States. I was like, this is crazy, man. I
Are
mean,
you into Are you into alternate history at all?
a little bit. I am a little bit. Yes. I mean, I'm not.
When I
It's not
was
all about horror, but I love American history.
There's
So
an old TV movie. When I was a kid, they were like, TV movies of the week and stuff like that. It's called, I think it's called Fatherland. I'm almost sure. Where the premise is that Hitler lived and America is like a German colony, and it takes place in the 60s. And the whole Holocaust has been completely covered up because they won. And it's a German officer who finds the evidence of this and decides that he has to go public with it. It's really, really good. But what I love was the alternate history. Like the American president was Joseph Kennedy, who was kind of a German sympathizer, instead of John Kennedy. And so President Joseph Kennedy is welcoming the elderly Hitler to Washington. And I love alternate history. There's one called the Guns of August about the Civil War, where a Southerner time travels back in time. How does he do this? Yeah, that's right. It's somebody from our time who gets an AK-47, takes it back in time, teaches the people there how to build AK-47s, and uses it to help the South win the war.
that is interesting. I have what's it called again? I'm gonna write that down.
I just said it was Guns of August, but I know that's not right. It's Guns of something. If you just Google alternate history Civil War AK-47, I'm sure it'll come up. But it was a hell of a thing because, yeah. So, like, some people think that if you alter history, it's going to snap back into place at some point. It's like a rubber band. Like, no matter what you do, it's going to snap back. And some think it could actually be changed. But I find time really interesting.
Absolutely. I mean, fascinating stuff to talk about another time. You and I have to get down. We have to talk more about this. This is really fascinating stuff. I love this.
The best
So,
conversations happen at 3 a.m. where somebody says, you know, and then, yeah, those are the best.
okay, your character from Straight from Hell, Tony Commando. Just to get back on
Yeah.
topic here, just a little bit.
Yeah.
How would you describe his personality?
He, I actually was mad when I saw the costume because I was like, he's got these like cut off, these like totally um, backwoods, redneck, mindless hunter. Um, and my opposite in the movie was Bill Mosley's wife, Lucinda. And she really helped me because we were in the trailer together waiting. And I was telling her, this seems like a really like simplistic reductionist character. So she said, well, maybe they're scared and maybe they really believe what they're saying and maybe they really think and in a way they are. I mean, they were wanting to kill a really bad guy in the movie. And in life, I would say, yeah, I don't think that really bad guy should be around either. So I should say thank you, Tony Commando, instead of, denigrating him and looking down on him. So yeah, his personality, I decided, thanks to Bill Moseley's lovely wife Lucinda, I decided that he really thinks he's doing the right thing.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I only seen the movie twice, and I vaguely remember what your character did in the movie, and I'm still trying to figure out how that worked out. I mean, you have three individuals who like from these backwoods redneck hillbilly people, and they defeat the Mexican mafia. I'm like, how's that possible?
Right. And we were the lower grade hillbilly people. We were like, yeah, we were the steps below them. Maybe we were just jealous because we also were redneck hillbilly people, but we weren't as cool as, Bill and everybody.
Still love the movie though. It was a very entertaining movie, and I
But
loved
you
it.
know
I
what I
mean,
what I loved about Rob was when the script came, it had the F word all over it. And I mean, okay, that's cool, but it was like a lot in my one scene. And so I asked him, we were in the transpo van riding to set. And I said, do I have to say that much? He said, no, it's fine. You can, he said, whatever you want. And I was like, that's really, really nice. Because a lot of directors would be like, no, you have to say every single F word. But he was very cool. He's a very gentle person, but he's one of the most in charge directors I've ever seen. I mean, he's really, really in charge of his set. Jamie Lee Curtis, when I worked with her on Screen Queens and she directed, same damn thing. I mean, both of them have the ability to make people do what they want, but to make the people think that it was their idea.
that's really awesome. That's good to know. I mean, it seems like Rob Zombie has really made a name for himself once he started doing movies, and with this coming out, I mean, he seems like a really nice person. He does, even though even though we have to question his methods a little bit, but he seems like a really good actor. He's a very talented musician, obviously. Um,
Yeah, and he loves Groucho Marx. I have read that his film project, is a biography of Groucho Marx.
really,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Okay, that makes me wondering more. That makes me respect me more now. I mean, so Groucho Mars, interesting.
Yeah.
So you have the usual cast of I notice how Rob Zombie retains a lot of the cast members, the same people. I mean, I gotta know like Amelia Rivera, Dee Wallace, Daniel Roba, Clint Howard, Sean Whalen, Danny Trejo. I mean, you and Bill Moseley, Sid Haig. Oh, poor Sid Haig. I miss that guy so much.
God
Um,
rest.
Sherry Muzabi, all talented and fascinating actors to watch in movies. I mean, how does that make you feel? How he's always retaining the same people?
Well, a lot of directors in horror are like that. If they work with you and they like you and you're not a bitch and you're on time and you do your job and you're professional, a lot of times just that alone goes a long way towards getting you rehired. Because filmmaking is like war. Once you start the process, you can't back up. There's no reverse. And so you can't have any part of the unit that's not doing their job. And every single department has their job to do. And my job, my department, they call it talent, which I hate when they say talent's on set. No, no, not really. But the talent in my department is to support every other department. And I take pride in doing that. So a lot of times I think I get hired just because they say, there's going to be no drama with Bill. He's there early. He'll do his job, and pretty much whatever we ask him to do, he'll do.
Which is true. I mean, you seem like you're very respected on set as well. I mean, if you got that many credits on IMDb page, I mean, obviously you are talented. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Only a
I
couple
mean,
of times. There've been like two times. One, I was doing a video for Mastodon called Curl of the Burl, and I was playing a lumberjack who sniffed sawdust and turned into this giant dude. And there were these girls with lights on their nipples. Instead of nipples, they had flashlights. It was a music video. Anyway, it was like 2:30 in the morning in Burbank. The shoot was supposed to end at midnight. I was really tired. They just got the contact lenses out of my eyes. Just got the contact lenses out. And the producer came back in and she said, we need you. And you're supposed to then just say, Okay, I'll be here as soon as they put, but I didn't. I said, I just got these I was like totally 7 years old. And then on A Haunting in Salem for Asylum, I didn't hang my wardrobe up the right way. I had the hangers going the wrong way. And I could tell the wardrobe lady did not like it. And sure enough, somebody told me afterwards, she doesn't like you. And I thought, damn it. So that's the 2 times I can remember that I was a bitch.
It happens. It was 2:30 in the morning. I mean, you're who wants to act at 2:30 in the morning when they're really tired? I mean,
That's your, who wants to go to war at 2:30 in the morning? You do your job. So, but yeah, humans are we're so fallible. I hate that about humans that no matter how many times we do things right, there'll be that 1 or 2 times when we do things wrong, and we never know when they're going to come.
exactly. It's just like me and the Jolly Rancher game. I messed up twice, and I had to pick Jolly Ranchers.
Absolutely.
Like after the second time, I was like, I'm never doing that again. So,
It's like my dad saying, "You slam that door one more time, I'm going to take it off the hinges." And then by mistake, you slam it once,
yeah.
and he meant it. Yeah,
Oh, we were raised in a whole different generation, Bill.
it's good though. It's good. My father still asks me, "When are you going to get a real job?" And I like that about him.
I think it's a job. I mean, you earn money, you entertain
Yeah,
people. That's a
he,
job. I mean,
but you need a little disparagement. If he said nothing but, "I'm proud of you, son," I would be like, "Where's my father?"
hey, who are you?
Thank you. Yeah, it makes you tough, toughens you up.
Yeah. It's like my dad always told me, suck it up, kid, move on. So,
Thank you. I had cuts worse than that on my eyeball. Or the very famous, "I'll give you something to cry about."
oh yeah. No, no, no. It was me, it was my grandmother with a wooden spoon. That was like her favorite thing to use. Is
"I'll give you something to cry about." No, I'm not crying.
sitting at the
Yeah,
table.
yeah.
If we had our elbows on the table, she would hit us in the head with a wooden spoon. She's like, I told you so many times. Ow! I'm like, sorry, grandma.
I had a second grade teacher who would bend our hand back and pop it with a ruler. Like, you'd go to jail today.
Yeah,
What are
absolutely.
you going to do? Yeah.
So I'm sorry. Going back to Three from Hell, this is um Rob Zombie's third film in the trilogy, which a lot of people don't know that the Three from Hell falls into the trilogy category, which is fantastic. And I have to know, I mean, you don't have to answer this question if you don't want to. How did the death of Sid Haig impact you?
How did it impact the movie?
No, impacted you.
Really, really sad because I met Sid at a convention and he was very, very nice to me. He and Michael Berryman are two of the sweetest guys you'll ever meet at conventions. And he talked to me and we took me to the side and gave me advice. And I really was starting to feel like, I was developing a friendship with him. And then he died. And yeah, death is so hard because it's just an absence. That's just it. Especially
Yeah,
when you feel like you were just getting somewhere with someone and becoming their friend, and then they're just gone. That
absolutely. I
happened with
agree.
Roddy Piper, Roddy Piper, the wrestler who became an actor. I did a movie with him just before he died, and we really hit it off. And we said, "Oh, we got to get together and have lunch." And shortly after that, he died.
It sucks. I mean, the world would not be the same without these people. I mean, I had the pleasure of meeting Sid at a convention in Kansas. This was back in 2012. So, there's a Crypticon, Kansas, and he was just the most wonderful guy. I was standing there waiting to get his autograph. I was in the very, very back, and he could tell that I was tired of waiting and waiting because the line was wrapped around the building for this guy. He's such a legend. And as soon as I got there, he's like, "Man, you look tired." I was like, "You're right, sir. I've been standing in line for 3 hours just to get to your table." he's like, you know what? I'm not gonna charge you for an autograph or a photo. Just get up here, man. I was like, oh, that is so cool. I really do appreciate that. So, and what really sucks when I got out of the army when I moved up from back to New Jersey from Kansas, I lost the picture and the autograph. I
Oh
was like,
man.
that is not the best thing to happen, man. So I lost the autograph picture. I was so heartbroken. I was like, because to me, that's a big thing. It's like the same thing with oh God, what's his name? Scott Wilson. He passed away too, and back in 2018. And I got his pic, I got his autograph, and I lost it. I was like, this is just not the best thing, man. This really sucks. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's up there. He's watching down everybody. He's proud of everybody. I know he is. And
Yeah, I believe that.
and then I can hear his voice in the back of my head. What's the kid? You don't like clowns? It's just every time. I hate clowns. I can't stand clowns. I'm scared to death of clowns. But I can hear his voice. What's the matter? Are you afraid of clowns? So it's great. So are there any upcoming movies and projects that you are allowed to talk about the audience can look forward to?
Yeah, there's one coming out. There's a director named Mark Savage. He was an Australian cult director in his youth. He was banned, in fact, in Australia for a while. He makes really great, hard, gritty action, horror, thriller pictures. And I have one coming out with him called Killcraft. And it's about a guy who's a hitman and he gets killed, and his daughter decides to take over the family business. So I'm this really strange hitman who's out after the daughter of the hitman, who now herself is a hit person. And it's called Killcraft. And I think people will like that. I think that'll be good. I'm touring with a theatrical show. I love literature, Benjamin. I love taking like old literature and bringing it to life. I do Dickens every year with a touring version of A Christmas Carol solo. And I got a solo show about Satan. It's called Adversary. And I'm touring it around to small theaters, places of worship. And the site is adversaryshow.com if people would like to check it out.
AdversaryShow.com. Okay.
And then
I'll write that down.
I'm playing a Mexican sweat lodge shaman in a loincloth who brings back the girlfriend of an American guy, but it turns out it's not the girlfriend, it's a demon. And that one will be called Dead Iris. And that's by Adrian Corona, who did a movie called Dis, which is one of the weirdest cult movies that I've done. Yeah, I'm going to do that for Adrian, although I don't usually wear a loincloth.
You'll be turning heads, that's for sure. So
You know, it's horror. Anything in horror is like people who hadn't worked in the genre when they get on set and the things they're asked to do, they're like, I'm not doing that. And all the horror people, like I was on a movie with Dee Wallace. And somebody, I don't know, some young actress was asked to do something and she was like, I'm not doing that. And Dee and I just looked at each other and rolled our eyes. And she was like, oh, please, honey. You know, just do it.
Buttercup, just do it.
Right.
Well, that's all the time I have. That's all the questions I have for you. Thank you so much. You've been a wonderful guest. And I would like to pick your brain more about American history and like the what ifs, what could have happened if this happened, if that happened, You're a fascinating individual and I want to know more.
Well,
So
you slam that door one more damn time, you're going to play the Jolly Rancher game. That's all I'm saying. Thank you,
ladies,
Benjamin.
no, thank you. The honor and pleasure is all mine. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the talented, the wonderful Bill Oberst Jr. You can catch him at upcoming projects as Killcraft at adversaryshow.com. Make sure to keep an eyes and ears open for it, otherwise you may regret it. And that's all I have. Thank you so much. You've been awesome. You've been wonderful. I wish you nothing but the best in your career, and I'd like to see you in a lot more movies.
We'll see you later, you hellions. Bye.
All right. Take care, Bill.
All right, man. Bye bye.